You're live, it says. You're live. Come up, buddy. Come up. Come on, come be famous. Yeah. Again. There you go. There you go. Yep. I think I'm back. You? You hear me? Can you see motion? That's Floyd. He wants to go now. He doesn't want to be famous. Yeah, I couldn't get StreamYard to work, Joe. I don't know. I don't know enough about it, I guess. It kind of looked like I had to cut and paste something and add it to StreamYard to get it to work with YouTube, but I didn't really understand it. Like you said, I'll ask Harry about it. I put a new light in. I got last night. Light up my area. It's on pivot arms, so I can move it around, up, down, backwards. Put it back this way. Jungle website purchase. Pretty reasonable. It's right over my head. On the dimmer, I think I had it on the lowest setting. That's lowest. Right, stream key. That sounds about right. And I don't know why the first YouTube one just quit. About 2 minutes in, it just said lost connection, but my internet connection here is excellent. Did Discord change something with their hardware? I got a message from them the other day about asked me if I wanted to change something. Hi, Bryce. You don't have to change both. You can change one of them. You don't have to do both, Joe. No, I don't think it was nitro. Usually it says nitro. This didn't say nitro. I should have taken a picture of it so I could ask you, but I'm a dumbass, so I didn't. People cruising by on golf carts. Hey, Eric, good to see you. Yeah, they get out after supper and after they take their medication, they drive around in the golf carts drinking and run into one another. Fucking old people. Oh shit. I started a sticker board last night. Cut a piece of this that PVC I talked about I use for guardrails. Start lining them up on there. And I can hang it up somewhere, or cut it and make fences out of it and install it out around the track. As I fill up a strip, just cut it off and install this fencing. Eric, message me your email in Discord, and I'll send you one of mine. Anybody that wants one, just message me in Discord and with your address, and I'll send you one. I met a guy a week ago uh, that said he could do my stickers for 40% less than the first batch that I had done. So I'm gonna compare that to what's the online one that everybody gets this from. Only got maybe half a dozen left. Get some more. Yeah, you message me, give me yours, and I'll give you mine at the same time. Eric. Yeah, sticker mules, Joe. What did they figure those are a piece? I think my original ones were $1 a piece, and this guy, hi Brad, and this guy says that he can do them for 60 cents a piece. But just showing off your stickers, Brad, building the board. Yeah, anybody's gotten it from what's that? Where is it? Sticker Mule. How much are they a piece, guys? That when you're getting them from Sticker Mule? I was going to talk about scratch building chassis tonight. If anybody was interested. Hi, Ron. Glad to see you. Glad you stopped by. Okay, Eric. Nothing, Douglas. Been waiting for it to get a few people in. I thought I'd talk about scratch building a little bit if anybody was interested. I'm not an expert by any means. I think I built 17 now using several different ways of doing it. I did 15 last year, which is ridiculous to do that many in a year. And I'm in the process of making some more car stands. What I've done with building is watched other people's videos and started using ideas that they have and then developed some of my own. And I'll go back and I'll watch different people's postings again and try something else. I don't think I've built two cars the same yet. Try something a little different. I want to build all of the Trans Am cars from 64 to 70. I've got to start on it. Some of them you can find um, regular model bodies from, like AMT or all the usual model companies. Then there's a few that you can't. Um, Particular difficulty I've had is with 64, 65 Ford Falcon, 69, 70 Javelin, 50 for $19. Because that's from Sticker Hub or Sticker whatever it was, Sticker Mule. And that's pretty cheap. Yeah, like I started to say, the 64, 65 Falcon, 69, 70 Javelin, the cheapest model kits I've been able to find are $250 plus just for the model kit, which 70% of that, maybe more, maybe 80% of that I'm going to throw away because I don't use it. You don't use the chassis, the suspension, the motors. All you use is the shell, the windshield, the bumpers, the grill, headlights, and that type of stuff. You don't use the undercarriage, none of that. And most of the time, you don't use all of the interior because you have to cut it up to make the motor fit. So I try to buy my model kits for under 20 bucks if I can find them. Sometimes, like I think my grandson's Mustang, it'll happen there. My grandson's Mustang, I had to pay $40 just for the model. So by the time that gets done, that'll be $130 or $140 car, probably. Okay, that's freaking me out. What light is changing on me? Something going on behind me. I can't see. That was a quick dinner. Well, anyway, I'll do one. I'll just plod along here. This is the first car I built. It's 44. I built it because I just like the model. I like the 44 body. So all it is an AMT model kit. And I used a scale auto chassis. It's a 8500 RTR or RTR 8500. All the RTR means is ready to run, and it has an adjustable wheelbase right here. These screws, there's little tiny screws right here, and you see these holes. You can adjust your wheelbase using that. I built this March of last year. This was a year ago, my first build. I did the cutouts. I cut out the fenders just to get that dirt track look. And I took the scale auto wheels and tires off because they were more like a modern day car. And these are H&R wheels and Paul Gage tires. And the car runs really well. Looks cool, runs good. And it was fun to build. Like I said, you learn something all the time. This has a full interior in it, except for the back seat. I had to remove that to make room for this for the motor. And these are actually easier to build on than the brass chassis I build because it has a sidewinder motor. So the inline would be up here, so it would be right in under where the seats are. So this is much easier to build on with a model kit. And I believe I used yeah, I think this mount here for the body actually comes with the scale auto chassis, or maybe you have to buy it separately. But it's pretty easy to use. And that's another thing I've used numerous ways of mounting bodies. That's pretty much not mounting bodies, mounting the interiors. There's all different ways to do it. You just got to find what works for you. Sometimes it can be very frustrating because you gotta really hack stuff up. Your Dremel becomes very handy. So that was my first build, and that's on the scale auto chassis. The pause to refresh. My second build, this is a 63 Impala, and it was built for Home Racing World's proxy for last July. I actually built this in the end of March last year also. And this is a model back when COVID started. My wife was traveling to the grandkids to help homeschool them because they were going to school like 2 days a week or something. Just adjust this light a little. Maybe give you guys a better look at stuff. She was traveling quite a bit, so I said, well, used to build model cars when I was a kid. So I went on the Jungle website or Evil Bay and bought a model. This is the first one I built. So this would have been summer of 2020. I built this. I built the GMC pickup from the 60s, and Chevrolet pickup from the 60s, and the 57 Chevrolet. So anyway, Home Racing World says we're going to do a 60s NASCAR build. These are the rules. This is what you can use. Well, this is Dusty. Watch. So I looked at the rules, and I said, "Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze." Thank you. So they said you could use, if you didn't want to venture into building your own chassis yet, that you could use the H&R chassis available. So that's what I did. The model was built. I ripped it apart, took the interior out of it. I actually stripped it down to nothing, pretty much. Bumpers, everything. Because if you're going to build a slot car out of a model, you really have to reinforce it. If you don't, it's going to start flying off. If you built models before, if you leave them sitting around the shelf or something, you pick them up to move, something falls off them because the glue all dries out. So if you're going to build a slot car, get yourself some 2-part epoxy or that 6,000 glue. And when you're ready to mount the body on the chassis, load it up. The bumpers, the interior, your mounting points, everything, load it up with that glue. And that'll make it sturdy. This has been upside down, crashed into. You can see the paint wore off the top of it from being on its roof. Just went to Home Racing World and ran hundreds of laps in that proxy race. And it came home pretty much unscathed, and it did pretty well. I think there were 34 cars or something in the class, and it ran 6th. But this has a H&R chassis, and it's the one they call HRC10. And it comes with fish rubber tires, which don't run well really on my track. I have a painted Carrera track, and they're not allowed in Home Racing World proxy races. So these are the Paul Gage tires that are specified for the race, Paul Gage urethanes. But this H&R chassis is also an adjustable chassis, as you can see here. Holes here. You just get these screws out, slide this back or forward, this section, to set your wheelbase. So that was the second one. So then things got really exciting after that. I'll show you my third, which was my first brass build, and then I'll show you the right way to do it. Actually, I shouldn't say that. But when you build your first brass chassis and you're trying to figure out how to mount everything, it's pretty difficult. But I got to tell you, this thing runs good. It goes good on the track. It certainly isn't last in lap times. I'll tell you that. This was a kit bash. I bought a junk box off of Evil Bay that had like 5 models in it. If you've seen my Cobra, that was the only complete body in the junk box. Yep, the blue one. This was partial. There was stuff missing, like doors, inner door panels, dash. That was all missing. So then I just kind of surfed around for a month and I came across one, I think it was on eBay for like $9. So I bought it. And that had enough parts to complete this. It's kind of just a mismatch, and that's what I wanted it to be. You know, nothing fancy, no fancy paint. The hot rod, Traeger's. Now, the underside. Chassis's very, very straightforward. Two rails, guide to this backwards. Guide plate, motor mount, gearing, axles, blah, 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 blah. The difficult thing was this. This is mounting the interior. What we have here are two pieces of here. This is difficult. Here and here. That's two pieces of tongue depressor. And this centerpiece, both sides and through the middle, that the interior sits on, that is a bar coaster. And then I made a little tonneau cover, that's bar coaster, framed with plastic that I just painted. And I put some decals, few decals on, and shot it with some clear coat. And I've done a video of it running on the track, and it turned some pretty good times. So that was the first build, and I struggled with it, but hey, I learned a lot of stuff too, so it was fun. And then I did a few more brass chassis. And I got a little better at it. And I did this. I mean, dust it too. And this also has a 3D printed driver that I did. And he's on it's got a full dash. I think it's a, yeah, no, it's the interior from the model kit in there. This is a 52 Chevrolet sedan delivery. Yes. It's not good light, is it? I'm gonna have to figure out this lighting thing if I'm gonna show you guys stuff. Message this light a little bit again. And there goes the microphone. And that's just gonna shine in your face. I'll figure something out eventually. Can you still hear me? Yep. Good. But anyway, that's an AMT 125th scale model kit. This was a fun build. I enjoyed it, and I really liked the way it came out. And I got much better at chassis building and interior installation. Same thing, Paul Gage urethanes. I built this in July last year. So I was 3 more months in from the first one, so it makes a difference. And you can see my soldering here is not great. Each time I soldered, I got better at that. I'll show you another example here in a few minutes. And this is a different way of mounting. These are little metal angle. They're like a uh, L-shaped. Come with the screws, and they have buttons, Velcro buttons that attach to the inside of the body that fit into the holes in the metal strip here, and it gives body float too. You get some body float with them, and that's probably the most convenient way to mount a body, and that comes with the H&R chassis that you buy, like that chassis HRC 10. Yeah, this has the same mounting. See the metal strips under there. So this setup comes with these chassis, and you can buy them separately. So I bought a couple extra ones. So when I build it, if I want to use that procedure to put my interior in, I can use that. I'll see if I can show you a little better example of chassis building as my soldering skills improve. Also, I had a very cheap, lightweight soldering kit, so I invested a little more money and got it better soldering. All right, this is a 40 Ford sedan delivery that I built. I built this last September. Two-tone, black. I'm not sure what the green is, but I like this. This was fun to build too. This has a full interior. I didn't put a driver in here. I don't know why I didn't, but there's no driver in it. But it's fast. Now they run good. I listen. I'll tell you, there's nothing better than building something, putting it on the track, and watching it go. You know, listen, buying a slot car and watching it run and run it is great. But there's nothing like building one. Now you can see here, my chassis building looks quite a bit better. And I used a different body mounting system here. I used strips of balsa wood. They are glued to the interior, bottom of the interior, and then drilled. This is all brass. All the green under here is all brass, and then drilled and screwed with these tiny screws here. That's like, look at 5 cars, and they all have all different body mount solutions. And these run great. The vans, these like this one and the 52 Chevy, they're a little top heavy. So you got to come off the gas a little earlier when you hit the big turns. Hey, Ted, welcome, man. But they're fun to drive. I love building them. Like I said, I've had to slow down. Dad told me I used up all the brass last year, so I had to slow down. So I've got quite a few, as I showed in a video recently, upcoming projects. I have way too many projects. I'm like at least 5 cars deep, maybe 6. my grandson's 71 Mustang. Yeah, I'm 5 deep right now. And then when I was rooting around last night, I found this in here. This is a Buick NASCAR. I think when I built a Monte Carlo for the January Proxy at Home Racing World, and I think I bought 2 kits. I didn't know if I wanted to build the Monte Carlo for this Buick, and I liked the Monte Carlo better, so I built that and stuffed this in my pile, and I found it yesterday rooting around. So now I'm 60. If I want to build that. And we were talking about the Trans Am cars. Hopefully, I found somebody that is going to print me the Falcon and Javelin bodies. That's the plan. Anybody have any questions? I'll just pay attention to the chat here now. Listen, if I can help you, anybody in any way, I'll be happy to help. If you're not on Discord, join your Discord. That's an excellent source of information, and we can private message back and forth there. It's very cool. Pete from Show Me Slot Cars and Rarest Carrera set up that Discord. It's called Slot Yard. So that's a good place to exchange information. Show you some more, I guess. It's a 41 Plymouth. I got this to have something to run against my that's the light. Okay. I got this to run against my 40 Ford. I get a little juice here, Dad. Absolute Sprite and a splash of crayon raspberry. That's right. You got to get those car holders. So this is a 41 Plymouth that I got to run against my 40 Ford. The same thing. I used that Scale Auto 8500 RTR chassis. Different kind of wheel. H&R Racing wheels, I think, are on this. Black ones with Paul Gauge urethanes. Full interior. Runs good. And it's a great running mate for that 40 Ford. And that scrap box that 58 Thunderbird was in, this Cobra body was in there, and it was the only complete body in the bunch. And I just did it on the H&R chassis. Very short wheelbase. And these are anodized rims. Blue anodized. These are ProTrack Daytonas on the front, rubber, hard rubber. They barely touch the track. and Paul gave your things in the rear. Took me a while to get this car running good, but it runs decent times now. See you, Joe. This next car was actually on. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Johnny Hobby. He did send in pictures of your favorite cars or something like this a few months ago. I sent this in, and he featured it on his show on his one of his lives or something. It's a Gremlin X, which I actually had a 1-to-1. I had a 1972 Gremlin X, orange, gold stripes, 304 4-speed. And actually, mine had body color rims with chrome centers and beauty rings. And I dusted many a Mustang for all you Ford lovers. These are the same wheels that are on the Cobra Pro Track Daytonas. Hard rubber in the front, and all gauge Euro things in the rear. And it's also on the HRC 10 chassis. And it's a sweet running car. It runs very similar to the Cobra because they have probably pretty close to the same wheelbase. Yeah, Johnny Hobby is a cool guy. He was one of the first YouTubers I started watching, I think, when I got interested in doing slot cars. I have a few more up there. A couple of Corvettes, 66 Impala Super Sport. That stupid Ford T pickup. That was a pain. But this was my most difficult build by far. I don't know if anybody's tried building this type of model, but they're very, very fragile. All the parts are little, as the Brits would say, or Slot R would say, very fiddly. Very, very fiddly. I also did something different. I forgot about this. I also did something different when I was building this chassis. And I know Tad's done it many times. I used some piano wire, which I'd never done before. And I'm not real excited to do it again, to be honest with you. This is piano wire in here. This is piano wire back here. But yeah, this was a difficult build for me. This has a full interior. The piano wire, Tad. It's got Kragers. It's a cool looking little truck, but man, by the time I got done with it, I was glad I was done with it. We got here. This is another car that I had 1-to-1. Actually, the car I got married in, the '66 Impala Super Sport. I should qualify that. the car I got married in the first time. I think I posted a picture on Discord of the actual car. My car was similar in color to this, but it was more rust colored. It had a cream and brown interior and a cream colored vinyl roof. It was a 327 high performance motor and 2-speed slush Chevy transmission. But I really like the car a lot. I like this body style. I actually probably prefer the 65 to the 66 because it was a little hippier here. The hips were a little bigger. I think it looked a little better, a little more pronounced. They're both sweet cars. And this is also on an H&R chassis, mounted differently to the interior again. Just about everyone has a different body mount. I like big hips too, Ted. I gotta put a couple of these back so I can bring some more out, I guess. If you want to see them, you don't tell me to shut up. Okay, I was able to buy, as you know, I'm a Corvette fan. I was able to buy most of the Corvettes either from Carrera or Scale Auto, but I struggled with finding C3s, C4s, and C5s. So I got a 78 C3 and built that. That's also on an H&R chassis. All gauge urethanes. And then I ordered a 1/25th scale C4 to build, and it came, and I kind of messed around with it. This is also a car that I got. I messed around with it, and the scale compared to the other cars was not right. So I ordered a 1/24 scale, and it's a better representation, I think. This is a car that I had, 86 Corvette. I had the two roofs, so I had the glass roof and I had the solid white roof, which I think the car looks better. It's a solid roof, and in Florida, you don't want to ride around in that because you're like, as Fisherman Tad would know, you'd be in an aquarium sitting there with some bacon. So that's the C4 I built, white over silver, 86. And then I got a C5, and I was gonna do a Le Mans car, and the paint failed on me, and I got frustrated. I just stripped the paint, put a little gray primer on it, and then shot it with regular gray paint. The highlighted yellow wheels and mirrors, a couple of decals. Great running cars, these three Corvettes. And again, it's an H&R, the HRC chassis. I see the windshield is collapsed there. I'll have to re-glue that. Something about glue on windshields I found. The regular model glue, of course, the first thing you do is smudge them all up. I went and bought Canopy glue. that the model airplane guys use to glue their canopies in the airplanes, and that does not stain. They put it on and then just wipe the excess off, stick it in there and hold it, and it looks good and it holds them way better than Tamiya or Testors or whatever glue you use to build your model stuff. I've also heard that you can take a little Mod Podge. Is that what it's called? Mod Podge? And mix it with a little water, and you can use that also to do shields and headlights and taillights. But just thin it out a little, I guess, is a suggestion I've seen. I'm not a professional either, believe me. Like my kids say, I'm a dumbass with a smartphone. That's about as far as I go with being professional. But I have fun with it, and I can build what I want, limited to what the manufacturers build. And I've kind of limited myself anyways with only doing 124, 125. I don't have no interest in 132 cars. I don't care about Ferraris and I, I like things that I know I can drive or have driven. I've driven a lot of cars. So I like to build stuff that I know. I probably save myself some money because of the 132s. I come out with a million of them. People like them and buy them. I don't know. Thanks for coming, Tad. Really appreciate it. All right, I'll hang around for a little while, but we're down to 3 people, so I'm not gonna bore you guys to death. I'll hang out for a little while, have a beer, see who shows up, check out Discord. I don't know if I'll do this regularly if I'm only gonna have 6 or 7 guys, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. There's some cards back up on the shelf here. So who's still here? Anybody? I'm not talking to myself. Eric, you gotta finish that Merc you were doing. Now this is only my second live song. I did one last Wednesday. I said I'd try it a couple at Wednesdays, like between 7 and 7:30. If there was interest, I would continue to do it. Listen, man, if you contact me or Tad, we can show you a couple of different ways to mount that body. You know, once you do it once, you'll be able to figure it out, man. Let me know if I can help you. Oh, I think a lot of people have my channel set to notifications if I post something. You're gonna say, "Hey, Greg is live," or "Greg has posted a video," or something. 124. Somewhat, Ron. I'm a big hockey fan. Have been all my life. I was born in Canada. The reason I have this is I really like the logo, so I bought the shirt. And walking around Florida, people look at it, they have no idea for the most part what it is, unless they're Lightning fans. The Tampa Bay Lightning fans, they might know. Are you? That's interesting. I'm originally from Windsor, Nova Scotia, quite a long ways from Winnipeg. I was always a Bruins fan because they were the closest to where I lived as a kid in Nova Scotia. And then in '65, my family moved to Massachusetts. So I arrived shortly before Bobby Orr. I prefer the Florida weathers myself, winters. That'd be great, Warrior. Yeah, like I said, I would make it a regular thing if there's enough interest. You know, I would. I generally post videos of my builds as I'm doing them. I don't do like a tutorial or anything, but I'll do 2 or 3 things in the build. You know, work on the chassis, post a short video, work on the body, post a short video, that type of thing. And then when I'm done, I do a video on what it looks like, how it runs, and usually at a later date, I'll do a video of uh, actual lap times with Smart Race and where it falls with the rest of the cars that I have. Warrior, I saw that you're on the Discord. That's a great resource. All of those are analog. They could all be digital. I've been thinking, I've talked to a couple of guys about it. I'm thinking about maybe building one of the next few cars that I build, putting a chip in it, just because I haven't done it yet. But I know I can do it. You know, the Carrera chip, or most of those are plug and play now. Pretty simple to do. Chip comes with the plugs, comes with extra wires with plugs. You just got to do a little soldering. Same thing with putting light kits in them. That's pretty simple now too. What am I working on now? I'm actually building a 71. This is with my grandson. He picked this up. I'm building this with my grandson. He picked this out. We've got the brass set up on the board with the wheelbase set. We just got to do the soldering next time he comes over. We do a little bit every time he comes. You know, he thought the day we brought this home we were going to build it and have it done. And I said, "Oh, son, it doesn't work that way. It takes time." And he's not here all the time, so we can only do a little bit at a time when he's here. Hi, the fingers. Welcome. Hi, Mike. So that'll be his build. I guess I'll show you the others. I think I showed some of these last week. And my own personal next build will be this Sunbeam Tiger. I don't know how many of you are familiar with that. It's similar to an AC Cobra. It's a small British car that they stuck a V8 engine in. I'll build that. And then I have another Mustang. Trans Am. They didn't run many fastbacks in Trans Am. Most of them were the notch bodies, notchbacks. But I'm going to build this Shelby as a Trans Am car. Hi, Marty. How are you? Now I'm going to do these two kits. I've got the 2000 Le Mans Corvette winner and the 2001 Daytona winner. So that's with my grandsons. That's 5 in the pipeline, and I have hopefully 2 resin bodies coming for the Falcon and the Javelin eventually. Thanks for stopping by, Marty. I appreciate it. So it's just showing my scratch built cars, Marty, and the fingers. Went through most of them, answered some questions, and try to encourage other people to build. Showed some of my mistakes and different ways that I did things. Yeah, Mike, you're right. I'm not bored. I also have a couple of light kits to build. I noticed that some of my scenery that's been on my track for 3 or 4 years, my fat ass cat has knocked over and broken some stuff off. So that's on my workbench to do some repairs. Yeah, I got a lot of stuff coming eventually, Marty. I'm not going like I did last year. I built 15 in 12 months last year, and I'm not doing that again. So we're going into the 4th month. So far, I've completed 2. Completed the Monte Carlo that I sent to Harry's in January, and I completed the 132nd, the only 132nd car I've ever built, that Trans Am that I sent to you. That's all I've built so far this year. So there'll be nothing completed in March. It'll be April before I get something complete. I don't want to build one a month. One every couple 3 months would be good. If I can build, I'd be happy with 6 this year. I heard, speaking of magnetic racing and building scenery, I heard that Slot Track Scenics was bought by Pendle. Anybody else heard that? Yeah, Warrior 3 and 5. They're a little young to be putting plastic models together, soldering for sure. My grandson is 10. and he's way smarter than I am. Yeah, the thing is, I've always wanted to build one of those. You know what else I'd like to find sometime is like a Triumph Stag. I'd like to have a Stag. Yeah. Marty, have you finished any of those cars from George? Any of the printed ones? Hi, Michael. Cool, Mike. That's good. Big Oak, you missed me showing off my scratch builds, showing all the mistakes I made. There's a few on the table there. Carrera thought I was drinking out of a sippy cup last week. But I'll tell you, this is the one and only Clearwater 124 collector koozie. Puts a name right on it. Series 1, one of one. This will be famous. See you, Ron. Enjoy dinner. Yeah, Warrior. Go back. I don't know if you're familiar with Raul. He's in Discord. What's Raul's channel name, fellas, for Slot Card Channel? Help me out here. He did a lot of Lego and all kinds of stuff on his track. You'd be interested in those videos. What the heck's Raul's? Conquest Racing. Thanks, Eric. Warrior, check out Conquest Racing's channel. He has a lot of Lego and Warrior type stuff that he did around his track from a few years ago. If you go back and watch his videos, you'll find it very interesting. Thanks, Eric. Appreciate it. Here's some of the scratch bills here, Mike. There's 5 of them. 5 of the 15. Here's 2 more. I probably showed you most of them at one time on Discord or something. You've probably watched videos. But I showed my mistakes too. It was good to see Herrera's Carrera get to 1,000 subscribers the other day. That was exciting for him. He's a big shot now. Oh, good. Good, Mike. Yes, Mike, plastic model kits. AMT, MPC, Revell, Blueprint exclusives. Just something I'm looking at around me. That one. It's too far away. Yeah, plastic model kits. I have a guy that's doing a couple of resin bodies for me for cars that I couldn't find that were way too expensive to buy a model kit. Because when you think about it, you buy a model kit, right? You're probably going to throw 70% of it away. You're not even going to use. You don't use, for the most part, you don't use the undercarriages, the suspension, the motors. Now you're using the hoods. You don't use the wheels and tires, axles, none of that crap. Use the body, the windows, grills, bumpers, hubcaps, partial interiors. The rest of it is just in the box. I actually went to a model show last fall, a local one. It's the only one I've ever seen. And they were selling either in the original model box or in plastic bags with stuff written on them. The remaining kit pieces from people building slot cars and using the bodies for a different build or something. So they were selling all the miscellaneous parts for like $5 a bag, $5 a box. But that's like I said, that's the first time I ever saw that. So I'm probably not going to have an opportunity to do that. We have like 2 yard sales a year here in our neighborhood. If I'm not away playing ball or something, I might set at a table with that crap on it. If not, I'll just end up throwing them away. So if you're paying $40 for a model and you're using 30% of it, your ROI is not very good. The solution is to buy resin if you can, and just buy the body. You can build your own tray interior and make windshields out of just about anything. A water bottle, any kind of, everything you buy comes in a bubble, plastic bubble, cut that away to fit. That in. So if you can get a body for $20, I have all that waste. That's just another suggestion. I'm not really old analog guy, Warrior, because I do have a bunch of Carrera digital cars. My track is Carrera digital, painted Carrera digital. Carrera digital is what brought me back to slot cars. 60s, my parents bought me 1/32 scale Strombecker kit. I had a red Ferrari and a black Jaguar, and it was and a ton of track. It was a huge set. And I had that till I went away to college. And then in the late 70s, early 80s, I built a huge table in my basement in Massachusetts. I had Lionel trains, and I bought HO for my kids. So we had a big Lionel train HO setup in the basement. So then I didn't think about slot cars forever. And when COVID hit, I was, like I said before, I was building some models just to kill some time while my wife was away homeschooling the grandkids. And I was surfing Amazon or eBay or something, and I saw 6 cars on a track and they were changing lanes, slot cars. Oh, what the hell is this? So I started researching it. Sometime in October, I think, September, October of 2020, this huge box of Carrera showed up. Carrera Digital 124s, 24 cars. So that's how it started. Progressed to here, and it's 5 years long. It's 5 years later. And my track, I built this table out here. My track is about 92 feet. Hello. Yes. You're good.
Oh, I wanted to remind you those little owl things I made, peanut butter,
Yes.
they're in that container in the refrigerator.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And I'm letting them back out.
All right. Thank you. The boss made some power balls or something healthy that I actually like. So, yeah. So anyways, my track is this end of the table behind me is 3.5 feet wide. The far end down there is 8 feet wide. It's 20 feet long. I have about 92 feet of track, and it's painted digital Carrera. It's actually digital analog because I also have it on the slot box, so I can run both digital cars or analog cars. Yeah, there shouldn't be any kind of divide. People talk about that all the time: analog only, digital only, silicone tires, foam tires, rubber tires, magnets, no magnet. I don't give a shit. Whatever you like, just run what you like. Talk about what you like. You don't like what somebody else is doing, you don't like their channel, don't watch it. Doesn't seem to me to be any sense having an argument about it. It's fun to poke a guy, like we tease Joe all the time about running silicone tires. That's just banter. Nobody really cares. I don't think. I probably do some things and say some things that people don't like, and I don't. That's okay too. Yeah, it is, Mike. It's actually 2 of them. This is the one I'm building with my grandson, 71. And then I'm going to build this Shelby as a Trans Am car sometime this summer. I know there weren't many fastback Trans Ams. Most of them were notchbacks. But I'm going to make this a Trans Am because I can. This is my grandson's. This is the one presently in motion right now, 71. pick that out. That's the most expensive model I ever bought. It was $43 or something, but that's the only one. So. Yes, I've used some Slot Invasion parts. I've used their guides, both in Carrera cars and scratch built cars. Yep, Mach 1 Marty. Yes, I have a Hobby Lobby probably 10 minutes away, but I'll tell you what's better is Hobby Town. They used to be like 15 minutes away. Now they're like almost a half an hour away. They moved locations last week. But Hobby Town is much better than Hobby Lobby for a slot car guy. Mine are, but my local ones, that's what I found. Anyway. That's my. Warrior, there's other solutions in the OmniBox also. There's some guys that are bright enough to make a schematic to build their own analog to digital. And there's the Axle Box, which I believe is a Canadian gentleman that makes several versions of that. And the other one I'm probably not going to be able to think of. Marty can probably tell you because he burnt one up at one time. What was that called, Marty? That first digital analog box with the chips, had the car chips in it. Closed on Sundays. Yes, I do go there every now and then and check for the models, Chris. Yeah, I do. Yeah, Omni now has 4 or 5 different versions, Mike. That's correct. Oh, I can't think of that other one. Omni, the Axle Box. Somebody help me out here. I can't remember. I can't remember what the other one was. You know, I'd heard that. I'd heard that, Douglas. I'd been there twice and they had crap both times. No, Warrior, Hobby Lobby is like a craft store that has hobbies, and I think you can get a lot of stuff to build things, but it's not really a. You can go to race your cars and stuff. No, it's not a club. It's not a slot car place. I think I've only ever seen like a Carrera Go set or something like that in there. Yeah, Douglas, I was very, very disappointed with all these. I went once and they had, I don't know, 4 or 5 different models. Next time I went, I think they had nothing. No, that's correct, the fingers. Hobbytown is much better. They are, I think that their big, probably their volume sellers are RC at Hobbytown, but they do carry The last time I was there, they had a Scalextric set, and they had 1/32 Carrera digital set, a lot of HO stuff, a lot of accessories, and they have a ton of build materials. Like they sell brass and balsa wood and paint, glue, and all the tools to build. So I actually prefer Hobby Town for my purposes. Um, like everything else in hobbies, any hobby that you choose, prices keep going up. As they, it's your hobby, they have you hooked. So that sounds interesting, Warrior. Is your Hobby Town any good to Fingers? I haven't been to the new one here. They changed locations. I'll go up there probably in a week or so and check it out, check out the new spot. It's further away now, probably another 15 minutes further north. But I like it a lot better than Hobby Lobby. Yeah, Hobby Town does discounts. They'll have like 15, 10, 15, 20, 25, up to 40% off on some of their model kits. Not across the board, but certain ones. So sometimes you can find a pretty good buy. All right, fellas. Been about an hour and a half. I appreciate everybody that showed up. Yeah, if you haven't subbed, please sub. Hit the like button. Maybe I'll come back next Wednesday, probably 7:30. Try again. We can build the audience a little bit. Maybe I'll do it. I really appreciate everybody that came by. I hope you found it interesting. If there's any questions I can answer about scratch building, best way to get me is probably message me in the Discord. That's a very good resource. So anyway, fellas, thanks for coming. I'll see you next time. Bye.